What up and welcome home slices to the first of this. Just a time lapse, about like 10 minutes, where you guys can see the process more in detail, because I like to see it more in detail. And every time I make the 1 minute video, I also I first make like a 10-minute version prior to the 1 minute video, the short. And I personally always enjoy better this version, so I figured, hey, I'm gonna post this one and I can talk shit about my work. No, I'm not gonna talk shit, but I can like comment on like my decision making. That's the whole point of this, like just kind of vibe. This brush right here, the one I have, this one is like a very like rudimentary, very cheap brush that I bought in San Francisco in like some Japanese store that we went to with my family, and it's fantastic for this. It's not the most precise, that's why you see me like picking at a tip, because there's like a little flingy weird hair that comes out. It's not like in the best quality, in the best condition, but it's a good brush, so I can't let it go yet. But yeah, so I'm just gonna be hanging out here while you guys can watch this. You can mute me if you want, just to watch it. Otherwise it'll be just like if you're watching like director commentary on a film, but this time about my work. I love working on black paper, and Batman's one of my favorite characters. With white ink on black paper, you won't know what the white looks like until it dries, unless you're looking at it through like a camera, like you're recording it, because it usually dries lighter than it goes on, usually, but you don't know, you're not gonna know the exact value of it until it's fully dry. And depending on the paper also, it's how smooth the transition is gonna be, at least for me. Like this paper is very like smooth. I like to have a bit more texture when I use water mediums, but I use what I have, I struggle with the Batman body. I didn't know how to like make him look cool. See here, like I was like, oh fuck, and then I just remembered how like Batman cartoons are drawn and whatnot, because I have the Batman animated series art book, so I was referencing that a lot. And then I was looking at like comic books that I have here too, like the Battle for the Cowl and stuff like that. And it's cool because that like shapes that I used to define the body are from one of those books, and they're simpler than trying to replicate the exact anatomy. I'm trying to make the white, like really white, And then with Batman, I have to keep it relatively off-white, but still add like a directional light to it, So it's a lot of like push and pull with the values. That's why I start off very light first, to kind of designate where my lights are gonna go, and then slowly build up to how bright I want it to be. Same philosophy that I use for black ink on white paper too. Instead of like thinking of how much light, it's just how dark I want it to be. Obviously, right? This is from like an episode of Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, Justice League Unlimited. It's a good show, and this is when Batman goes to confront Ace, who is the leader of the Royal Flush Gang, and she's a girl. She's like a child, more or less, but she has powers. So she created her posse, which is like their gang, but she was about to die of an aneurysm, and Batman knew that. So he spends the last moment of life that she has with her, and he comes out with her on his arms when she passes away. Super sad episode, but I love it. So I wanted to draw like an homage to that episode. Well, to that moment, it's such a tough moment to deal with, and it's something that probably Batman goes through a lot, being who he is, right? So I was like, damn, that sucks. But I was like, fuck it, let me pour it. And I put it in here. And the cards, like the design of the cards in the sketch look better, in my opinion. But the end ones are pretty cool too. But the design idea came from an idea my brother gave me to base him off the characters of the episode. The king, queen. I put Joker just because in the comic books the Royal Flush Gang sometimes kind of has relations with the Joker, so that's like a little callback to the Joker himself at the end. But it's not. You don't need that to have a Royal Flush in poker. Also, shout out to my cup of tea. Chile. It's a Starbucks tea. Cup from Chile. I'm from Chile, but I haven't gone to Chile in but that's my mom or my cousin brought it from Chile. I really like how the cape came out. And so I always try to be mindful of how thick the white lines are going to be. How much attention you want to and how much do you want to pull it away from the environment. Like in the top, it kind of makes sense because it's like the rim light, But I only did it on the outline of Batman, like the silhouette. Here I'm just adjusting like the values for the cards to make him look like some of them are closer to you than others. This brush holds a lot more water, so it can give you a more smoother transition of like values in one surface. But I think with like white ink at least, more so than black. No, either way, ink in general, I think the water you're going to use more water than you're going to use ink, so your brush is going to become dry and darker quicker than you think. Or more saturated. The shoes, I always have to make shoes now with like full on like soles of the shoes and everything, because see, like the cape looks hot, man. My bad. But yeah, because Bernard Chang, he's a professional comic book artist. He made it a point one time on a stream, because he streams on Twitch too, that like it always kind of bothered him that people don't when they don't put like actual footwear on heroes or characters, because it looks like they're wearing a onesie, and it makes it, or socks, something like that, something along those lines. I don't remember verbatim what he said, but it was along those lines. So ever since then, I make sure that my shoes look like actual shoes and not like socks or onesies. And yeah, but there it is. See the Joker, boom, Joker, and the Joker is also kind of modeled after the face of the Joker in that show. The 10, I made an actual 10 because the 10 on the show is a woman, so like she's a 10, like they're saying the perfect 10 kind of thing, right? So I never see like the Jack. He looks like the character. The Queen is the face of the character of the Queen. The King, so he looks like the Maddox kind of looking king, and then the Ace is her. So I didn't have to make anything. I just forgot to draw the shamrock on her shirt. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little time lapses that are longer and where I ramble a bit more. And I'll see you next time. Deuces.